Hello and welcome to Men Behind the Curtain, the podcast about everything and nothing all at once. I am Pitt.
I'm Eli. Hope y'all are having a good one. It's currently the 6th of July, so still hot as shit. It's not hell's front porch, but it's still hot as shit. So hopefully y'all are managing. I'm surviving.
I'm outside in the heat.
Yeah, I do hear a little bit of wind hitting your mic though, so I mean you've at least got somewhat of a breeze. And I know you got that tree um kind of overhanging a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Just glad it's not falling on my head so far.
That's true. Also, for any of y'all watching on YouTube, if you see my eyes dart, there's a huge fucking fly in here, and he keeps bothering me. So,
Ah,
um, I know one thing. I'll just mention just elephant in the room. I know as far as anything in the political space goes, if you're on our side of the fence, you're not happy with the recent developments. But truth be told, we kind of knew that this was going to happen. Um, But as one of my friends likes to say, politics doesn't stop when the election ends. Shit is still ongoing. Hopefully, midterms turn out better in our favor.
well, I wasn't gonna bring it up because the big bullshit bill. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I know we try not to get too serious on this, but again, it's just kind of elephant in the room. Um, I don't know how this is going to play out. Nobody else really knows how this is going to play out. I know what everybody's worst fears are, and I'm not going to say that they're unfounded. Um, just hoping shit doesn't go that far.
yeah, Ireland's looking pretty good right now.
It really is right now. Shit, I swear to God, like Canada is like what a 4 or 5 hour drive from here. Um,
Well, depending on which route you go and how fast you travel.
yeah, and between healthcare and weed, like honestly, Canada's not looking that bad at the moment.
Canada's never looked bad. I mean, other than their past genocide, practices and a few things like that. But
I
they're
mean,
very
are we
polite.
really ones? Are we good to judge that though?
Oh, I'm not judging that. This country is based on nothing but genocide and oppression. So
I've actually joked that the way that Canada has treated their indigenous population is somehow worse than what the US has done, which in a really morbid way is impressive.
yeah, um, I'm glad you added the term morbid in there as well. 'Cause
Like it's not good, it's not impressive for a good reason. But I mean, if we're comparing, like, how did y'all manage to be worse than us? Like,
well, it's the beer they're drinking.
or the fact that they also have fucking bears and crazy ass moose up there, so maybe that's driving them a little insane.
Yeah, well, I'd rather spend a moment in the woods with a bear than deal with half the shit that we have to deal with. I'm
That's
choosing the
true, because
bear.
honestly, like that's not a bad choice. First of all, if I'm with a group of friends, I don't have to outrun the bear. I have to outrun my slowest friend, and I'm not above tripping him. And if we have food already, fuck it, you can just have that. I will find my
So
own food elsewhere.
what I'm hearing you say is that I need to run about 20 yards to either side of you. Um,
Well, bear in mind, I am still wearing a knee brace, so I am at a distinct disadvantage when it comes to outrunning anything. So I have to take whatever shortcuts I can.
all right, so grab your cane, smack you in the knee. Got it.
um, I mean, I have thought about. Actually, I think I probably will buy a cane. Not for that reason though, because I actually still want to. I still want to get a cane for my Chuckles uh cosplay. I guess like because honestly, dressing up as Chuckles and going like full kingpin with it kind of fits the character. Speaking of which, y'all, episode 7 is out by the way.
And episode 8 will be on the way, probably about another 2 weeks.
And I will be doing another live stream on TikTok when episode 8 drops. We'll be doing 7 and 8. I'm actually really, really looking forward to this one because this guy knows I put so much fucking work into episode 8 trying to get my lines right.
Yeah,
Some of it was
I
on
made him
Matthew's fault.
record multiple times. So
Yeah. And again, the last one I just record. It was a one take. I'm recording on my laptop and on one of my old phones, all at the same time. I had a mic attached. I had this mic attached to it, and I had my other mic attached to my phone. I'm like, one of these is going to work. Um, and I did
well,
see where on.
spoiler alert, I used most of the one take.
Probably the one from my phone then.
Yeah, so uh, there's a couple in there that were the individual outburst sections and whatnot that I spliced together, but the majority of it is the one take.
Okay, that works. That's fine.
So
Um,
I want to step back real quick. Would that really constitute cosplay if you're actually dressing up as the character that you're portraying?
I mean, it is and it isn't because even though I have added a lot to it, it is not my original character. It's John's original character. So, kinda, even though I have basically created the image for it, but I mean, technically, I guess it's not cosplay, but I don't have a better word for it either.
Well, every character I voice, I have an issue cosplaying them because I'm not shaving the beard.
And that's fair. Um, I actually really, really hope, and I'm not going to give spoilers for those of y'all watching slash listening, but the suggestion that I made for Chuckle's lines going forward, I actually really hope he finds a way to incorporate it because it'll be funny as shit.
Oh,
Because
I
it just adds that nuance to the character.
oh, absolutely. I would love to get a couple of the lines from you know changed from Seven with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. We won't mention the disgusting human being else that was in it, but yeah, I would love to get a couple of those like what's in the box. Be like you can say what's in the bucket.
Right. Actually, you know what? Speaking of which, I don't think we've talked about it on this show or not, but I'm just going to plug this a little bit for those of y'all listening. If you followed the Valmont show at all, you know that we've mentioned Carolina storyteller Jonathan Miller slash Jonathan Phoenix and his Patreon. We are going to actually start recording like some additional like shorts for it. Um, and it's going to be a Patreon exclusive thing. It's not essential to the series. So if you don't listen to those, you can still listen to the episodes and it'll be fine. But what we are going to be doing is just adding a couple extra scenes just to like better humanize some of the characters. Me and Pitt have kind of co-written a script for one episode that we're going to be doing with some of our characters. And honestly, I like it because again, it helps to humanize the characters. But my secondary character, Frank, is kind of dumb. So there's a couple of funny moments in there.
Yeah, and since we're speaking stuff like that, we'll give the big shout out to the Weekly Spooky for help pushing the
Yes.
Belmont Black Raven Chronicles series. Weekly Spooky, if you haven't checked it out, podcast. It's my good friend Enrique Cuoto. Great director, producer, screenwriter, scriptwriter. Just absolutely phenomenal stand-up guy. So thank you, Enrique, and the Weekly Spooky for helping promote Belmont.
Yes, and I will be dropping a link to that in the description below. Whether you're on Spotify, Spreaker, YouTube, whatever, the link will be there.
Yeah, so since we're sitting here, since I've mentioned filmmaker and stuff like that, I just happened to catch a new trailer for a movie being released this coming Friday, or should say this Friday, um, and I am not impressed with what I've seen. And we're talking about Superman. Um, the new trailer just did nothing for me. It made me like I don't want to watch this movie. And it had nothing to do with the actors. I thought Nicholas Hoult and his look as Lex Luthor was spot on, much better than Jesse fucking Eisenberg or whatever the fuck his name is. But Nicholas Hoult, he looked great as Lex Luthor. Some of the lines he delivered, to me, that was a comic book accurate Lex Luthor in the deliveries. And even with and I'm not knocking the actors and stuff like that. It's just whoever edited or whatever treatment they had when they were putting the scene together made me not interested in the film whatsoever.
I can agree with that. But one thing I want to mention, just real quick, I love Nicholas Hoult. I think he's a great actor. He was entertaining. I loved him as Beast. I think he was great in Mad Max Fury Road. I think he's a fantastic actor. However, one thing I would like to point out when we're talking about Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, um, I know there is no way in hell that I'm the only one who did not see this. And for
And that's
those of
Tim.
you who are,
That's Timothy Oliphant too.
oh shit, that is, yeah. But there's a clip in the original trailer that you see Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor holding up a gun. For those of y'all who are listening and not watching, I'm sharing my screen and you can see the character Hitman. And if you've seen him as Lex Luthor holding the gun, he looks like fucking Hitman. um, Although I do think that they've got a good bead on the character because part of Lex Luthor's whole MO is he doesn't like that the world is literally at the mercy of Superman. And should Superman ever decide to go rogue, which he has done in some of his best stories, Injustice being one of them. And actually, Zack Snyder was about to sample that pretty heavily for his Justice League trilogy. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Um, that at the core is Lex Luthor's motivation. And it's not actually a bad motivation. He's obviously a villain, so he's not going about it in the right way, but his logic makes sense. Which honestly, the best villains, that's true for all of them. The best villains. Thanos, we've talked about that many times. Killmonger, we've talked about that. Killmonger wasn't wrong in what he wanted; he was wrong in how he was doing it. Um, so I think they have a good beat on how they're portraying Lex Luthor. Um, but I agree with you. I'm not. I will watch it. Let's be honest. I am going to watch it, but I'm not excited for it. I'm probably not going to go to the movies to see it. I'm just not really into it. First off, part of it is just some of it, I think, is the fact that I miss Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was a fan fucking tastic Superman. Uh, Great suit, great look. He didn't have the comic book curl all the time, which is fine. Honestly, that's a little cheesy if we're being honest. Um, with the new actor David Cornsweet, who does look, he does have the look for Superman. Um, I don't like the Kingdom Come logo, that version of Superman crest. I don't like it. Um, the trunks, I'm not going to be one of those guys who, oh, the trunks are bad. I don't like the trunks, but I don't care. Um, James Gunn, he made an argument for it. He said that, well, this is comic books. It's inherently silly. So why not just keep the trunks? And I'm like, you're right that it is a little inherently silly, but that's still not a good excuse. Keep in mind, James Gunn is the same guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy. And most characters in Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax is a good example, is not like his comic book counterpart. Um, Star Lord, Gamora kind of is. But like Star Lord is a big differentiation. Um, and there are versions of Star Lord he wears like an actual like uniform, a superhero suit. He doesn't do that shit in the movies. So his argument that it's inherently silly is a bad argument, in my opinion. And I mean, hell, he made the second Suicide Squad movie. Actually, that might Actually, to be fair, that probably more helps his argument because Polka Dot Man, like Polka Dot Man, that is fucking ridiculous.
So yeah, you
Uh,
bring up Suicide Squad. I couldn't stand either one.
I enjoyed the second one. there are things about it that I don't like. Um, Margot Robbie, we've talked about this as Harley Quinn, is a phenomenal Harley Quinn. She really is. Now, in the first movie, her accent is not consistent. It does slip. But by the second Suicide Squad movie, she's got the accent down. She's nailing it. It's fucking perfect. Um, John Cena and his banter with Idris Elba as Bloodsport and Peacemaker, their banter is fucking hilarious.
So
Um,
much so that there's a Netflix movie out with both of them.
Prime actually on Prime.
Oh, is it
Um,
Prime?
it's funny you mentioned that because so I'm in the car this morning and I'm hearing a radio interview, and it was actually Idris Elba and John Cena. They were on the Breakfast Club, but they're talking about that movie, and um, apparently that is literally the same thing. They took the same banter, the same chemistry, and just put him in a different costume. And honestly, I'm half sold already just off of that. Like this is Bad Boys with a white dude instead of two black guys. And don't say that as a criticism. I could watch Martin Lawrence and Will Smith argue in the car for 2.5 hours, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
I kind of have to side with Martin on most things. So
I think I've mentioned it before. I actually think it's something about Martin Lawrence that brings it out of people because the banter he has with Will Smith and Bad Boys is the exact same banter he had with Eddie Murphy in Life. So I think it's something about Martin that just draws it out of people in a good way. Um, but actually, speaking of that, with second Suicide Squad movie, so that character Polka Dot Man, David Dasmalshin, I'm probably butchering his name, and I apologize for that. He's going to play M. Bison in the Street Fighter movie.
oh shit.
They've announced the full cast for it, and some of them I'm actually really, really looking forward to. Um, Not all of them I'm totally familiar with, so this is going to be like a movie debut for Roman Reigns. He's going to play this character Akuma, which for those of y'all who, if you've played Street Fighter but you're not familiar with Akuma, he has the same fighting style as Ken and Ryu, and he wears a gi like they do, but he's a demon. So that is who Roman Reigns is going to be playing. And I'm kind of cool with that because for Roman's very first movie role, I would rather he be stoic and intimidating than have a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of how they did. They introduced like Dwayne Johnson to more cinematic approaches. Even John Cena in a few things, here and there. So it's kind of like they kind of like know that these people have the talent and whatnot, but they want to slowly introduce them, which is you know,
Yeah,
which I think helps their career. I mean, they did the same thing with Dave Batista,
yeah,
and honestly, I love his portrayal of Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy and the MCU. And as you could say, he's probably on the spectrum with some of the things that happen with him and whatnot. So
yeah. And as has been discussed plenty of times, James Gunn, he revamped the character of Drax to cater to Dave Batista. For those of you who are not fans of the comics, Drax was from Earth. It was Arthur something. When Thanos first arrived on Earth, the very first time, he landed on a car and killed Drax's family. So Drax, his soul, consciousness, whatever, was put into another body for the purpose of killing Thanos. I say all that to say he would understand metaphors. He would understand colloquialisms. He would understand all of that stuff. Drax is a huge change from the comics, but it's a good change. And he did that to cater to Dave Batista. And as we've talked about many a time, if you look at Dave Batista's movie career, you do see him grow. And again, I think Knock at the Cabin is probably more or less like a culmination because his acting in that movie was phenomenal. And you wouldn't look at that and think it's the same dude who played Drax because it is a world of difference. Um, but so some of the other ones that they have with Street Fighter, and I'm pretty interested in. So if you're a casual fan, you might remember Blanca, the green dude who does electricity and you fucking cannonballs you all the time. That's Jason Momoa, which I thought was a weird choice.
Eh, I mean, I can actually see it. Um,
He has the
if you kind of
physicality.
he has the physicality, but if you kind of give him that, like when he played Khal Drogo, uh, as in comparison to Aquaman, whatever. And of course, it was makeup, whatnot, just for the camera. But whatever they did as Khal Drogo, I can make him green, give him that porcupine backed hair.
Yeah,
I could see it.
I personally feel like Jason Momoa is a little bit wasted. And what I mean is like he's a big marquee name. So putting him in a character like Blanca, who has like he's not going to speak that much, it feels a little bit wasteful. But I'm gonna reserve judgment. Like it's not the route that I would have gone, but maybe it's gonna be good. We'll find out. Um, some of the other characters, Ken and Ryu, are not characters that they're not actors that I know of. Alan Ritchson, which some of y'all might remember from Jack Reacher series, or if you watched Titans, he was Hawk. Is Guile. He's a good Guile. He's a good pick for that.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a damn sight better than Jean Claude Van Damme. Which
So with
when
other
I found
movies
it,
coming, go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say we got other movies coming out too. We got the Fantastic Four. Then we've got Star Trek. Uh, you know, Strange New Worlds. The third season coming out this
Yeah.
month as well. And a trailer that I saw that I'm really looking forward to because I was thinking the other day they need to make a second one to this is Nobody 2.
That's one Bob Odenkirk, right?
Yeah.
I meant to watch that. Actually still haven't. I kind of forgot about it.
Oh, you got to watch it. Nobody 2's it's a little more lighthearted. And from what I hear, it actually is in the same universe as John Wick.
Hmm. Okay. That's interesting. um, and you know what? I still haven't seen the fourth John Wick either. 'Cause they've
Oh
been
my
playing the
God.
shit. They've been playing the shit out of the first three, which I've seen. Um, and I I kind of want to see the ballerina movie they have coming out. Um, Also, I forgot now that I have Paramount Plus, I can watch the one they did, the Continental.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I forgot about that one too. So there's a lot of content there, and I just haven't gotten around to watching it. But
Slacker.
I know. So part of my problem is that I have a constant debate over do I want to rewatch the show that I already know I enjoy, or do I want to watch something new that I kind of want to see it, but I also don't know what I'm getting into. Case in point, the new Dexter show's starting today.
I still haven't seen any of the original.
I they've cash cowed it so much. I honestly, at this point, have no faith in it being a good show. Um,
Kind of like
and
Criminal Minds.
here's the thing about it, and I really enjoyed Dexter as a character. So like he has childhood trauma, he just has an itch per se to kill people. So he targets it at people who dodge the justice system. So he is targeting people who quote unquote deserve it, but he's still a fucking serial killer. So I'm like, at the end of the day, he's still not a good person. So he doesn't deserve a happily ever after. I'm sorry, he doesn't. So I'm like, he kind of deserves to get put down like a dog. He like, in my opinion. So there's that. I I don't know if I'm gonna watch the new one. The last series they did, Original Sin, shows him getting into Miami PD. there could be some interesting story there, but I haven't watched that either. They've just cash cowed it at this point, and it feels like they're out of ideas. Um, but yeah, so like yeah, with that Street Fighter, I'm looking forward to that. Oh, I'm curious about that. Fantastic Four, I don't. I've never been a fan of the Fantastic Four, to be honest. Now, that's not to say they don't have some cool stories. And I mean, Pedro Pascal, I've never seen him have a bad performance in anything he's done. Um, shit, I've even forgotten about some of the roles that he did, like Narcos. Like he's a great actor. Um, and we've talked about um, The Last of Us. He was great in that. But this is one I'm not sold yet. I will
I don't know.
watch it.
I have seen one bad performance in Pascal and Pedro. I absolutely love you, but your appearance on Buffy the Vampire Slayer back in the '90s was. Uh, I'm glad you have grown as an actor.
I have not seen that. Although I will say, speaking of which, because I believe he was on Buffy, so I will go ahead and throw out a shout out just to RIP with Julia McMahon, especially, and he was also in the previous Fantastic Four movies. So yeah, I'll just do a shout out to that. But I didn't watch Buffy. Um, it sounds like something I probably could enjoy because I mean, CW can be a little bit hokey. I know that. I've talked about how I watched Supernatural. I'm well aware how hokey they can be. Plus, we've talked about like all of the quote unquote Arrowverse shows. Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow was very cringe sometimes. Um,
Yeah,
so but I can still be persistent. I can endure and get onto better episodes and everything. So I probably could enjoy Buffy, but at this point, there's so much other content. Like I'm busy. I'm still trying to catch up on Andor. I'm still trying to catch up on, uh, like I just finished one Netflix show. It was an anime, Blood of Zeus, which actually ended up being a fantastic show. Um, I loved Greek mythology shows. Speaking of Greek mythology, a tangent, but hey, that's what we do here. Um, so the Calypso song for Epic the Musical, God damn it, that
yeah.
is an earworm. That got stuck in my head a couple of days ago, and I keep listening to that song, and I can't fucking help it.
The
Although,
whole everything about Epic the Musical is an earworm.
yeah, because one of the people I'm friends with on TikTok, she posted something one time. She was singing along with I believe it was Poseidon, Get in the Water.
Yeah,
That was actually not bad. But yeah, this one with Calypso, that's like I guess quote unquote not the newest one per se, but it's the newest one like that I've had stuck in my head. Um, I also very much enjoy the women who want to cosplay and lip sync those because yeah, those are nice.
well, he Jorge, can't remember his last name, but Jorge is the creator of Epic the Musical. He's actually working on the Iliad portion of it now.
Nice. So, speaking of the Iliad, you actually just reminded me. Did you know that Christopher Nolan is working on a movie for the Odyssey?
I did not.
I'm really curious to see that because I do think Christopher Nolan might be one of the best storytellers working right now. However, Nolan likes to have very intri- intricate movies, we'll say. I'm not going to say complicated because I don't think that Inception was that complicated. I don't think that Interstellar was that complicated. It is a little bit because they're using astrophysics, but it's not a complicated plot. Um, although Tenet was very complicated. Tenet requires a second watch, but I fucking loved it. But I don't know how he can take that style where he likes to kind of sort of complicate everything and apply that to the Odyssey. I don't know how that's going to work out. And Christopher Nolan, I don't know if he is capable of doing a movie less than 2.5 hours, which is not a criticism, but still.
I got a feeling it's going to be like 2 movies, if at the least.
If you're going to do the whole story and do it justice, it probably should be, because if we're talking about the Odyssey as a whole, that is supposed to be like what, a 20-year journey, some shit like that.
Yeah.
So he could do like Dune. Um, Actually, speaking of which, when I'm talking about movies that I'm trying to catch up on, I literally just finished Dune like 2 weeks ago. Um, and that's not
The
even talking about
remake.
the show yet. Yeah, yeah, the one with Chalamet.
Okay.
So, and that's we're not even talking about the TV show that Max did yet. So there's that too. Also, my dumbass was not even aware that the reason they called it Part One and Part Two is because is literally the first book. Um, so the guy who wrote it, he had like 6 books initially. So Dune was the first book that they just split into 2 movies. The next one that they're doing, Dune Messiah, was his second book out of 6. So we'll see how that turns out. I did enjoy them though, so I'm very much looking forward to it. I also found out, I thought it was interesting that where the title comes from is that before the planet was known as Arrakis, the Fremen, the native people, called it Dune. Gee, I wonder why.
All right. So you said you had a couple of one of these things must go.
Yeah. I went ahead and pulled up a couple of them. I think I've looked at this particular article before, but I figure we can go ahead and keep it. So, sure, this I already know my answer right off the bat. Yours, I think I know what your answer is going to be too. So, first one has to go. So there's the Scooby Doo gang, Sherlock and Watson, Mulder and Scully, or Stabler and Benson.
Who's Stabler and Benson?
Law and Order, specifically SVU.
All right. Never watched it, but I hate Scooby Doo, so fuck off. Scooby Doo gone.
Honestly, I thought that you were going to say Stabler and Benson, but I'm actually on board with you. I never, ever enjoyed Scooby Doo. Even as a little kid, it was just too formulaic to me. It's literally the same fucking plot every single time. And I, Sherlock and Watson, I'll be honest, my main exposure to that is I didn't read the books. Um, but of course, there's the Benedict Cumberbatch show, which is phenomenal. There's the movies that Robert Downey Jr. did, which are also great. And it's one of the few times I've seen him actually act, because let's be honest, he's not acting when he's playing Tony Stark. Uh, and Mulder and Scully, the X Files is part of my childhood, so I'm not getting rid of that. I will fight you for that. I never fucking liked Scooby Doo. Listen, let me go to another one here. Here's some TV shows. So there's Abbott Elementary, the Great British Baking Show. I have no idea how they combined all of these together. Schitt's Creek or Squid Game.
Oh, let's see. Well, I love Schitt's Creek. It's hands down probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. So that's safe. Um, see, God, because and a Great British Baking Show actually has Noah Felding on there, and he's just fucking hilarious. Even with just what he wears. Um, he says Abbott and Costello. What's the last one?
No, Abbott Elementary and
Abbott
Squid Game.
Elementary. Oh, well, I've only seen the second season of Squid Game because my youngest daughter wanted to watch it, and
Really?
yeah, uh, really had I'm not into like Korean shows. Yeah, that's kind of her thing. I believe it's Korean,
It
maybe
is.
Japanese. Okay,
No, it is Korean.
and I don't recall Abbott Elementary, so Abbott Elementary's gonna go.
Abbott Elementary, it's shot a little bit kind of the docu series style, kind of like Parks and Rec, kind of like The Office. So that's the filming style. Um, but it's a school. So you have Todd fuck, I can't remember his name. The kid who plays Chris in Everybody Hates Chris. So he's a substitute teacher who becomes like an actual full-time teacher, and some of his kids are just fucking ridiculous. Um, I haven't watched all of it. I actually want to. I believe it's on Max, but what I haven't watched, I've enjoyed. Um, I would keep Squid Game. I still have not finished season two. I watched season one. I thought season one was amazing, although some of it had to do with the originality of it. Um, and Korean shows can be a little hit and miss. We've talked about it, like some of their Korean horror, for example. Train to Busan is a great fucking zombie movie. Um, there's another one they have. It's called Tag. It's another Korean horror movie. It's really fucking weird. Um, this you have this girl. She's on the school bus. She's going to school, and somehow there's no rhyme or reason to it. She gets like transported into another dimension, and everybody on the bus got beheaded. The only reason she survived is she was picking something up off the floor at the time. That's how it starts, and she just goes from like I guess like different dimensions. She's just like hopping. It's like fucking Stewie and Brian on that episode where he's jumping to different universes. But every universe she jumps to is some violent, crazy shit. But anyway, getting back to with this, I haven't watched Schitt's Creek or Great British Baking Show. Schitt's Creek does seem a little bit more up my alley, so I would say Great British Baking Show, and I'm not usually much for like those kind of competitions, so it's not a knock on them per se. I just think it wouldn't really be my cup of tea. No pun intended. And let me see if I can find one more. That's very niche. So fuck it, we'll do a food one. So pretzels, potato chips, cheese doodles, or popcorn.
Ah, pretzels are safe. No question about that.
Yeah.
It's gonna come down between popcorn and potato chips. I'm probably gonna say popcorn because the fucking kernels get stuck in your teeth.
That pisses me off so
Or you,
bad.
or you get the one that sticks to like the top of your tongue and you can't get it off.
The one that I really, really hate is when you get that bit of kernel, it's not between your teeth. It's between your tooth and your fucking gum line. That shit hurts. Um, but I'm not entirely sure what they mean when they say cheese doodles. I don't know if they're talking about those little balls or if they're talking about like basically Cheetos. I'm not sure which one they're talking about.
Well, I think you're talking about the little balls, but the elongated the
Oh,
Cheetos
like
puffs or whatever. Yeah,
oh, like yeah, the curls. Okay. Yeah, I gotta keep that because they're addictive in a really bad way. So I guess I would say popcorn, probably for the same reason as you. I hate the fucking kernels. However, um, now the popcorn that you get like during like Christmas time that comes in the tin, like the caramel popcorn. Oh, I fucking love that shit. But yeah, I think 'cause most of these are pretty generic. Like they had one here like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Captain America. That's pretty
Captain
cookie
America.
cutter. Ah,
Captain America, the weakest Avenger.
honestly, so if we're talking about in the movies, honestly, I would probably say Black Widow is. And
Nah,
So I say that because like so you have Steve like he's got the super steroids. So he's strong, he's got the vibranium shield. He's better than just a hand-to-hand combatant. Hawkeye has trick arrows. Like he can throw grenades and shit. Widow has a Glock. like I understand, like it's a master assassin, espionage and all that. But if we're talking about what works best thematically, she kind of doesn't. Like like when we saw Endgame, we're looking at the trailers for Endgame. You see all these people like I guess quote unquote training in the trailers, and then you just have Widow just at shooting range. What the fuck is that going to do to Thanos?
I'm sticking by my answer, Captain America. Colin. I never liked Captain America. I don't know what it is. He just never did anything for me.
I think a lot of what it has to do, because I've had a conversation about this before, with the exception of Hydra Cap, which is technically not Steve, it is a clone of Steve. But with the exception of Hydra Cap, Cap has really never broke bad, ever. And it tends to make his character a little bit more boring. We've seen where Superman breaks bad, and he is a fucking menace when he's not a good guy. Um, like I was showing my wife, like Brightburn, like he is a fucking psychopath. The kid in Brightburn. Hello.
Hey, we're
Okay.
back.
I was about to say, like your image looked frozen, but yeah, I don't know how much of that you heard, but I was saying like we've seen stories where Superman breaks bad, or we've had versions of Superman that break bad, like Homelander or Brightburn. Brightburn, that kid is a fucking sociopath.
Yeah.
Um, so we've had evil versions of Superman, so he can be a little bit more interesting. Um, Batman was never actually a good guy, and even he admits that. Um, Spider-Man is a little bit more nuanced because he's one of the only people who is truly trying to balance a civilian life with his superhero life. He's probably one of the only people that we've seen have that actual struggle, and he's
Yeah.
always fucking poor.
He's the working man superhero.
He really is. And for those of y'all who haven't seen it, so this is how strong Spider-Man truly, truly is. There's a storyline where Dr. Octopus literally swaps brains with him. And so he is inhabiting Peter's body. He punched Scorpion's mandible the fuck off in a single punch. And my favorite part about that is he does it and he's like, Jesus Christ, he was that strong this whole time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they say Peter pulls his punches.
Yeah, which is kind of why I would almost like to see them revisit Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, because in No Way Home, he said he stopped pulling his punches. And I'm like, what does a Spider-Man look like that stops pulling his punches? Does he even have any enemies left?
Yeah.
Like, he literally punched a hole in Kingpin in one storyline. And we've talked about this before. There's one time he broke into prison to fight Kingpin and whooped the shit out of that man, embarrassed him. Like he to the point he just picks him up and literally just slapping him back and forth. Which I'm sorry, I would love to see Tom Holland do that to Vincent D'Onofrio.
That's if Holland can keep a lid on
So it's funny because I know that they talked about in when they were shooting Endgame. They purposely gave everybody pieces of the script. Part of why they were doing that is because Holland and Ruffalo can't shut the fuck up.
it.
Ruffalo unintentionally did spoil the ending because he talks about how they shot like several different versions of the ending. They're doing like a big group interview. He looks over at Chris Evans. Oh, there's one where even you went and got married, which is what fucking happened. So yeah, if I was Feige, I would not even give Tom Holland the whole script. I would give him like the need to know shit.
Probably. And,
Uh,
and I only bring that up because we almost had a spoiler the other day for Valmont. So,
I mean, we kind of did
yeah,
because she
we kind
posted
of
it on
did, but
TikTok.
Jackie.
Yeah. Um, although that was a really cool scene to do the table read for. Um, Also, now that we've done the table read, so we're quote unquote done with season one. People still have to do their recordings, and we still have to get everything pushed out. But we're kind of sort of done with season one. So, in the event that, like Josh, if you happen to watch this, it's great working with you. I hope that you're back. Congrats on the new kid. Again, sleep while you have the opportunity to, because in a couple of months you will never sleep again.
Nope, never.
Uh, But so that's actually why you ended up with the role of Jerome.
Oh, I wasn't even aware. I just
It was
which
originally going to go to Josh. Um,
okay.
and so no hate to Josh. He's been great. He's a slimy fucking villain. But both of his characters are still very much offshoots of his natural voice. So I wasn't opposed to seeing him do Jerome, but I was more wondering how he would change his voice. I'm not saying he can't. Josh, I do believe in you. I think you can do it. But I was more curious how. Since it fell to you, you get to have a little bit more fun with
Oh, well, wait till you hear Jerome.
it. um, I'm curious to see how that's going to play out in season two, knowing what I know about the evolution of the character.
Well, wait till you hear Jerome's natural voice.
Well, hopefully that'll be soon because I know that you're working on episode 8 right now. This is
Yeah.
July 6th.
Well,
So
scene one is actually complete. I've already got it completed, and I've already got scene four completed as well.
nice.
Gonna finish scene five today, and I'm just waiting on lines to finish scene two and three.
Speaking of which, you know what? I'll do that later. I need to tag Jackie and John and like my clips for episode 12, just in case they want to give any feedback on those or if I need to re-record it.
Fuck
Uh,
you, train.
I get I it is crazy how close you live to it. Can't you see it from your backyard or on
From the
your
backyard,
patio?
no, but if I stand on the sidewalk, I can.
Jesus Christ, that was really poor planning on someone's part
Yeah.
to like
Well,
whoever
I
built
mean,
the town that way.
it's better than going by and shaking the fucking house like some of the people down the block.
I can believe that. Um, But like I said, I know with me being 20 minutes from the commercial airport and 20 minutes from the Air Force base, you would actually expect that I would hear planes a lot more often than I do.
I think I
Speaking
hear
of
more than you do.
speaking of which, I just found a rule that um, I guess that they did this in Fallout, but um, so it was somebody on TikTok. She was doing this, and it was really more like when we first attacked Iran a few weeks ago. But apparently, if you put your thumb up, and this is in Fallout, I don't know if this is in real life or not. If you put your thumb up, if the mushroom cloud from a nuke is smaller than your thumb, you can probably still run to a safe space. If it is bigger than your thumb, you are already fucked. And as I said
Well,
before, with my proximity to the Air Force Base, I already know I would be fucked.
I, I don't want to find out. Put it that way.
That's a fair point. I really wouldn't want to either. Um,
Because I am not equipped to survive after the Holocaust.
no. My only comfort, if it is a comfort at all, is I'm close enough to the Air Force Base that if they get attacked, honestly, I probably won't feel a thing.
Well, I'll probably be like, oh shit, and then dead because I mean, I don't know how it works, but I don't know what to do. Shock waves or
I I honestly don't know. But I think it also might depend because correct me if I'm wrong. Like World War II, like the second one, the quote unquote Fat Boy, I think that was a bigger blast than the first one. So I guess it depends on the quote payload, which sounds really dirty now that I say that out loud.
that's usually a money shot.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different words for it, but yeah, that's also one of them.
I don't know. I
But
mean, I just hope it, I hope Fanta Fascist, just follows
I
the
mean,
Simpsons
I mean, we're
tradition.
I mean, we're supposed to have the Golden Dome, which oh, speaking of which, so we can actually make this a little bit more lighthearted. This was fucking funny to me. So, Dog the Bounty Hunter, or sorry, Margie. So she is trying to introduce a piece of legislation to quote stop weather tampering. Like you stupid. Wait, hold up.
Where's it at?
Hey, yeah, no, hang on. Like you stupid fucking. Which, for those of y'all who don't know, so I just found a free soundboard, and yeah, I'm gonna be unhinged from now on. So, oh, that's actually the first time we've said it this episode, I think. So I get to keep that
It
counter at
is.
zero.
Counter stays at 0.
But yeah, she said she's trying to keep so we can no longer tamper with the weather. Which like, bitch. Oh no, I know where it came from because you know the flooding happening in Texas right now. Which
Ah,
condolences to anybody who's affected. Um, red, blue, whatever doesn't matter. People are people. So I do feel for them. I'm not going to say that anybody deserves what's happening. I'm not saying that. What I will say though, considering the fact that they defunded like the weather systems and people who predict it, like this was a consequence of uh defunding it. They could have had better predictions. They could have seen this coming. Apparently, the story she is trying to sell, though, is that this is revenge somehow, which, Jesus, you stupid, stupid bitch.
yeah, my cousin is actually one of those people that's affected by the flooding. So
Are they all right?
yeah, they're doing good. There's, from my understanding, there's not much flood damage to her house where they're at in that area of Texas, but like a couple blocks over, there's, I don't know. I don't know much about Texas. I understand that it's pretty much all flat, but I guess that she's at a slightly higher elevation. So
Okay. Yeah, I found out recently. So where I live, um, so I'm in a Facebook group that is basically centered around our city, and I'm not going to dox myself. He knows where I am, but mostly the Facebook group is Karens complaining, which is still funny to me sometimes. But they posted a picture. There's a cul-de-sac around here. The cul-de-sac had standing water, looked like almost a foot high. So I'm like, oh, so y'all actually could get a flood. We don't have that here. So it would run off. My yard has flooded, but like it's just my yard. So, but yeah, apparently there's some places up around here that they may actually fuck around and get flood damage in the house. So like that sucks.
yeah, I'm on a hill with 3 sump pumps.
I I actually need to look at that because I think they might be drainage things in my yard. Like it's a little tube for no apparent reason. And the only I've been meaning to try to figure out what they're actually for. I can show it to you at some point, maybe take a picture or something. I think it might be a drainage system. That's the only explanation that I've been able to come up with on my own.
Those are not
Uh,
they're not the termite things.
I have those. I have those surrounding the house. No, these are things that actually are like go in. You can like look and see
Oh,
inside. Um, but also speaking, before I forget, and before we wrap up, because I know that we're getting close to time, I think you said you had something too, or did we already go over that?
oh yeah, it was the Superman trailer and how shitty it made the movie look.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not crazy about that. I kind of hate that we're doing the reboot in the first place because like it we had a we had an almost good thing going anyway. I mean,
Hashtag no more origin stories.
oh God, yes. Or at the very least, no more origins for mainstream characters. So some of the ones that it is embedded in pop culture. Everybody knows where Superman came from. Everybody knows what happened to Batman's parents, and everybody knows that Uncle Ben got shot and said, "With great power comes great responsibility." Uncle Ben don't need to get shot no more ever. We can skip that, which I actually appreciated that the MCU did that. Like we already meet a Peter with Ben is already dead, so I actually appreciated that. Um, and we kind of had that with Ben Affleck's Batman, which, by the way, I still think Ben Affleck was better than he got credit for. Um,
Agreed.
but yeah, we went all over the place this week. This is going to be a rough one for me to title when I upload this. But I think that's a good point for us to go ahead and wrap up. So I want to say, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Feel free to check our other social medias. It'll be in the link tree. Stay warm. Hope you have a good summer. Hope you had a good 4th and you still have all of your digits. Um, well, actually, you know what? Also at the same time, fuck the 4th right now. If you know, you know.
Yep. All right. Take care, everybody. Be you.
Have a good one, y'all.